Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Childcare Business Success Show. I'm Julie Bartkus, and we've been on a 2-week hiatus, so I am incredibly excited to be here with you this evening. We've got a special guest coming up for you, Andrea from NCLCCA, which is a conference that I'm going to be speaking at in just about 2 weeks, is going to be talking to us about the conference and some of the sessions, and we're going to be giving you lots of tips and strategies to help you grow your childcare program. If you're here and if you've watched the show before, you know the routine. Say hello, let me know where you're tuning in from, and maybe let me know how the weather is. It was a little bit of a warm up here in Chicagoland today. I went to a pumpkin patch on Saturday night, and it was like 30 degrees and freezing. And today it was like sunny and 55 or 60 degrees out. I'm like, I think I picked the wrong day to go. But anyways, it makes life interesting. So say hello. Hey, Brandon, nice to see you here. Hey, Diana, welcome. Welcome to the show. And as you know, we love to give away prizes. So this evening, we've got our prizes for engagement on this evening show, as well as engagement in our Childcare Business Success group. And if you're not yet a member of our group, John is going to post that link for you so that you can come on over and interact with our community of childcare owners and directors from around the world. And we built our community up to, I think it's almost 1,100 so far. So if you're not a part of that community, I encourage you to come and join. And we have daily tips and strategies and lots of videos going on there for you. So make sure you come on over. Plus, one of our prize giveaways is based on you being part of that community. And it's a free group. But basically, every single week, we look for our most engaged members. And the most engaged member wins a marketing video that we put together for you. So that's pretty exciting. So that's one bonus in coming over to the group. Now, just for engagement in this evening show, meaning you comment, you like, and it's not an exact science that we use to figure this out. It's just kind of, we see your name appearing a lot in the comment section, or, share this out to other groups that you're a part of and tell them to come and write your name in the comments that you heard about the show from you. And you will be in the entry to win some of the yummiest brownies on the planet. And if you've gotten brownies from us before, give me an oh yeah, and let everybody know how yummy they are. Now, the cool thing is that it doesn't stop with you just winning brownies once. You can win multiple times, as some of you have. So don't let that deter your engagement from this evening, because you could participate over and over and over again and win brownies over and over and over again. So I want to update you a little bit on what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks, because we have not been on air. So one of the things that I just wrapped up was the childcare, the Create My Dream Team experience in Boston, Mass. And if you were there with me, let everybody know that you were there. But it was a fantastic time where we really helped childcare owners and directors formulate their plans of action for attracting, hiring, retaining, and motivating their high quality, or as I like to call it, their dreamy staff. And one of the things that always comes up as a topic of discussion is, how do we attract good staff and how do we hire good staff? So I'm making it a point in our Childcare Business Success group that I'm going to be writing some different tips and ideas for you on attracting and hiring. But one of the tips I want to give you right up front is that when you think about your hiring process, think about it being a very personalized process. A lot of times we get into the habit of seeing what ads is everybody else writing, what interview questions is everybody else asking. And I challenge you to think about where you've made hiring mistakes in the past, and then think about developing personalized interview questions that really help you weed out the mistakes that you've made in the past when it comes to your hiring. So this is one of the things that I think is incredibly fun to do, is to come up with personalized interview questions. And one of the interview questions that I think everybody should be asking is, how do your strengths or the qualities that you possess, how will those contribute to us bringing our vision to life? And there should be a lot of visionary questions intertwined into the hiring process. So that's one tip I want to start off with this evening. If you like it, give me an oh yeah. And remember, we're giving away some yummy brownies. So say hello. Let's see who is here. So Andrea Scotskill, let me make sure, is here saying hello. I'm going to just post a few comments up here. Brandon, good to see you here as always. He says the brownies are very yummy. And Jana's here giving out the link for the show. Jana, who's my manager, thank you so much for being here. You know I adore you and appreciate everything you do to make this show run. Let's see, who else do we have here? And we've got more people jumping on. Andrea Mara is here from NCLCCA as well. All right. Who else do we have? Oh, Angie Scott. Hey, Angie, nice to see you here. All right. So let me ask you, while you're here, what topics would you like us to feature on future episodes of the Childcare Business Success Show? Upcoming, I have for you many different guests, but also we're going to be focusing on different topics to help you create the positive, productive, and profitable childcare program that you desire and that you deserve. So if there's a specific pain that you have or a specific challenge that you want us to deal with here on this show, please voice your opinion now. Let me know, what is that topic? And then we're going to introduce our guest and get on with our conversation with NCLCCA. And it's going to be nice. We're going to the Carolinas next week. Can't wait. All right. Let's see. And feel free to post your comments as we progress. Okay. I think that's all that we got coming in right now. And our Chief of Happiness, Loretta, may be popping in as well. But I know that she's got a meeting this evening, so she may not be on with us live. So I'm going to bring up our guest, Andrea, who is here. All right, Andrea, I'm going to bring you up, and you can let me know, Andrea. All right, I'm going to welcome her to the broadcast. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let me show your name here. All right. So welcome to the Childcare Business Success Show. I'm so thrilled that we were able to make this happen.
I am too. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome.
Am I echoing?
Andrea?
It's Andrea Stogsdill.
Okay.
And I'm with NCLCCA. That's the North Carolina Licensed Child Care Association. No, it's kind of a mouthful. Can I tell you a bit about our conference?
Oh, you know, why don't you do that? And then what I'd like to do is also dig into the history of your organization as well, because I think you work so very hard to bring these conferences to life. Tell us about the conference. And I'm going to be presenting. I'm so excited to be there.
Yes, we're very happy to have you. So we have our leadership conference. It's called the Excellence in Leadership Conference, Growing Natural Leaders. It's November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd this year in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is right about in the center of the state. We wanted to have it in the center so that it's convenient for everybody. We are the voice of licensed child care providers in North Carolina. Our motto is that we work to ensure the successful future of children and their families by working to ensure the successful future of providers, licensed providers in North Carolina. And so our conference attempts to help providers to help families. So we have a track that's specifically for owners and directors, and then that's on Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then we also have a teacher track that's on Saturday, November 3rd. So if you're an owner or director, you can still come on Saturday. We're almost full on Saturday. That's the day that you have the keynote, Julie. So I know. So Friday night, we have your book signing, and we have a lot of other great speakers. And we're currently running a special right now if anybody wants to come on Friday only for $99. That's good through this Friday. And on Friday, we will have DCDEE speaking. That's our state regulatory body, talking about the newest child care rules. And what's coming up and how those rules are going to affect providers. And then we'll also have a plated luncheon with lobbyists, raffle prizes throughout the day, networking opportunities, owner-director breakouts on things like financial impacts of the 5 R's, cultural diversity in the workplace, including children with special needs in the classroom, just lots of different things for owners and directors.
Well, I can tell by your tone that you are just super excited about this. Let me ask you, and this is an important question. Can you move your camera like down a little bit to get more of your face up higher? There, yes. There we go. Wait, now you're higher than me. There, maybe now we even out. Okay, because that way our title was kind of cutting out your face.
Okay.
So it's great to have you here. So let's talk and let's explore and dive in a little bit for Friday. So Friday evening, I'm going to be there doing a book signing for our best-selling book, Childcare Business Success. So excited about that. But you've got lots going on and reasons why people should come on out. And I'm coming in from Chicago. I'm looking forward to the warm-up. Let me ask you, important question. Do you know what the weather's going to be like?
It should be in the 60s or 70s. 60s.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's going to be fantastic. So what time do you kick off on Friday?
So we actually kick off on Thursday evening, which is 6 p.m. We're having an expert roundtable event where it's almost like a speed dating where you can go around to different people. We'll have like a regulatory person, someone from the fire department who talks about fire codes, someone who's going to talk about lead and water and upcoming rules that are going to affect childcare is most likely, increasing your enrollment, multi-site growth. So you can go around to whichever table, and then every 15 minutes it switches. And then we'll also have beverages. And then the next morning is kind of like the real kickoff, and that starts at 9 a.m.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And I've got 2 sessions that I'm doing on Saturday that I can't wait to do. My keynote is Motivate the Motivator, which is all about self-motivation. And Andrea, I want you to, ask me some questions about motivation too, that we could give to our viewers and what your hopes are for how we can. And one of the things I love to see when people come into conferences or events is how they look coming in and then how they look leaving, like they've got information that's going to help them transform their programs, transform their lives. And I know you're doing that from Thursday evening going forward through the entire conference, but I'm hoping that maybe we could dig into some tips and strategies for everybody who's viewing this show today as well. And you might even have maybe a few inside secrets in terms of some tips and strategies that others will be offering as well that we could dive into and give people little secrets that are going to be revealed through your conference. So we've got Motivate the Motivator. And then the other session that I'm doing is parent and staff engagement strategies that will leave you exclaiming, I have no open spots left. And I'm really excited about that one because I think that how you do anything is how you do everything. So often we think about staff motivation and enrollment building as 2 separate things, but I want to show everybody how to bring them together so the strategies that you're working on one end are also working for you on both ends. And if you're tuning into this and you've got questions or we're piquing your interest with anything that we're saying, please write a comment or write a question. And because you're tuning in, we'll see if we can reveal some secrets to you, whether you're coming to the conference or not. But I hope you'll come on in and join me for a little warm up in North Carolina. Well, and depending upon where you're tuning in from, it might be a little cool down. But for me, it'll be a warm up.
Yeah, definitely.
So Andrea, is there any sessions that you're super excited about?
Well, I just like the concept of motivating leaders. So these are leaders who we want to motivate the people under them, who sometimes motivate their teachers. So there's a couple different layers in there of leadership. And, this is a leadership conference. So I'm interested in hearing how you motivate others. And I don't know if you can tell us anything without giving too much away.
Oh, sure. I could tell you lots of things. And as our viewers know, we love to give tips and strategies on all these ideas. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Are we getting enough of our faces in? There we go. Okay. Yeah. So, definitely on motivating your leader. So a lot of my philosophies really start from the top of the organization down. And so often we try to look at motivation as a fix my staff kind of issue or fix them kind of issue. So what we really want to do is look holistically at our organizations and say, okay, what's really going wrong from the top down that we can fix? So we dig a little deeper, but we have a permanent solution that's going to work. So when we look at a topic like Motivate the Motivator, that came about to me because I was always really curious. I've studied teachers, I've studied motivational speakers, I've studied leaders of huge companies. And I was always like, well, you know what? These people are in charge of motivating all of the people underneath them. How do they stay motivated? So I really started digging deep and looking at, well, what strategies and ideas are they using to motivate themselves? Because I really believe that our teams, our leaders, if we're the owner of an organization or if we're the director, will never be more motivated than we are. So their mindsets will never expand beyond our own mindset. So that's why from the very top down, we've got to be expanding our mindsets so that we're attracting a greater level, a higher quality people to us. So that's one of the things that we look at is how do we expand our mindsets on a consistent basis?
That's a really good point. So it starts from within.
It starts from within, absolutely. And then sometimes a lot of the ideas for motivating ourselves and for motivating our teams and for creating a culture that is motivated, some of the ideas are very complex. And people often brush them off because they're so complex, whether you're working on a gratitude list. And a gratitude list is something that absolutely is transformational because our mindset, and we'll look at our childcare business success model, but our childcare business success model says that our vision is the centerpiece and it's supported by our mindset and by our people. And that vision needs to support all of those pieces as well. So our mindset is really comprised of our thoughts and our beliefs. So if our thoughts are pretty much negative, that's the kind of fuel that we're giving to the vision. And often the vision we find in many childcare programs just collapses because it's getting a lot of negative fuel from parents, from staff, from our own doubts about what we want to create, from talking the industry about how there's lack. So we really want to expand beyond that to start thinking about possibilities and about what can be, what we can bring into fruition as to opposed to what the lacks and limitations are.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense.
Cool. So, so that's a lot about motivation, but with leaders, I think also our leaders and our staff need to be supported by our processes that we have in place. And a lot of times we're thinking that our processes are there to control or police people, but we really have to think of our processes as supporting our people. And that's really the true purpose of our processes and procedures is to support our people to be more successful in their roles. And we really have to think as a leader that our role is to coach our staff, not merely to police them or to write up or to reprimand or to beg and plead that they're going to do something to be more effective in their jobs, but to really inspire them, to set their souls and their hearts on fire, to make sure that they are just excited to be there. And when we look at motivation, like I said, some of these things they're very complex, but we think that they're so complex that they're not going to work for the long term, but they do.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah. So, and if you're tuning in, you got some questions, hey, go ahead and shoot them through. Brandon, thanks for your comment here. Brandon commented expanding mindsets. And also John is keeping track of some golden nuggets for us. Thank you, Jonna. Hey, Deidre, nice to see you here. JC gives us a nice little heart. All right, cool. So let's talk about your organization, NCLCCA. That's a mouthful, and it took me a while to memorize that. But tell us about the history. Why was this organization created?
So we were created to represent childcare providers, to provide them with training and advocacy, and to be a voice for them. We go to the Child Care Commission, which is a regulatory body that helps set the rules, and we listen and we pay attention to some of the rules that are being discussed, and we go back to the providers and talk to them about that and get their feedback on how it would affect their centers. And then we advocate for them, and whether that means going to the legislature or going to the Child Care Commission for changes, we encourage them to speak up at the Child Care Commission, because sometimes those regulators need to hear directly from providers on how things, rules affect their centers. So we really are just a voice for providers. And we also provide trainings throughout the year. We do a summer straight talk series where we provide training, and then we do monthly webinars, and then we do a yearly leadership training.
Woo!
Our conference.
There's a lot of support there for everyone, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so are your members North Carolina based only, or do you attract other folks outside of the area?
North Carolina based. Yeah. It's awesome. Pretty much licensed centers mostly.
And I know that we've got a lot of followers who are in North Carolina. So we'll be sure that we tag our North Carolina folks to make sure that they tune into this, really offer a lot of support. And I know the legislator, that's a big, huge factor, because that's something, a lot of childcare owners and directors feel passionate about issues, but then they don't know really how to go about making that change happen. So it
Right.
sounds like they've got a voice within organizations like yours to represent them and bring about change.
Exactly. We don't all have to be experts in how to work with legislators. You know what I mean?
Because that's a whole other ballgame, right?
Yeah. And we free up providers so that they can focus on their centers and focus on their families and children and let us kind of do the dirty work.
Yeah. And then it can be some dirty work. I mean, because it can be very frustrating work that you do, going to legislate. So in the years, what change do you think that you've been able to help bring about because your organization exists?
Oh my gosh. So at one point, DCDEE, which is the regulatory body here, passed some health and
coming on Friday to speak at your Friday program. Yep.
Yes, they are coming on Friday to speak. They passed a rule saying that providers needed to get health and safety trainings that would take 16 hours. We proposed an alternative that could be done in 4 hours, but still achieved everything. It still checked all their boxes, but it just saved providers time and money. At one point, they had a requirement that first aid and CPR had to be renewed every year, even though other states and the American Heart Association said 2 years was fine. So we got them to change it to 1 year, again, saving providers time and money. We had something here called the swipe system, where families that were accepting subsidy, parents had to swipe a card as they dropped off their child, but the machines were always breaking and there were long lines going out the door, and we convinced them that that wasn't working and to let us mark those children present using paperwork instead of having to use the swipe system, and that was like a huge win for us. So there are just lots of cases where we listen to what providers are struggling with, either in terms of burdensome regulations or too much paperwork, and we go back to DCDE and we try to get those things changed. So we really understanding the business side of running a childcare.
Awesome. And what is it that you're advocating for going forward? So what are your current initiatives?
So something that we've been hearing about that's most likely going to happen, I can't say that it is yet, is that it looks like a rule may be in the works right now that would require childcare centers to test their water for lead. And of course, we don't want children to have lead in water, but we are looking at some of the kind of like the details that would be too burdensome. For example, if we have a center that is brand new and passes with flying colors, then they would still need to test again every 2 years. And so we're trying to make it so that it's reasonable. So if you have a brand new center with new pipes and you haven't made any recent changes, then why do you need to pay every 2 years to get that tested again and again? And then there's some strict requirements with parental notification. So if you're a center that does have a problem with lead, but you immediately remediate and you solve the problem, then why do you need to post it on your website for the world to see? You know, things like that that could really make it difficult for providers to stay in business. So we're just kind of, you know, we want to find that middle ground between protecting children, of course, but also making sure that those centers stay in business.
Right. Now, I know that conferences, we just did our own event in Boston, the Create My Dream Team Experience. And I know that conferences take a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of heart, a lot of soul. I'm hearing some echoing. Are you hearing that?
I'm hearing something.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's from me or you.
I think I'm hearing it back from you, but I'm not sure. But I think we're okay. I think we could still hear. So I'm just hearing a little. I think it went away there. Did you lower your volume?
Nope.
Who knows? Well, maybe it was just, you know, sometimes it happens through the internet. All right. So I know that conferences take a lot of heart and soul to put on. Mm-hmm. What is it that you feel drives your whole conference committee to make your conferences absolutely awesome year after year?
So that's a really good question. You know, there's a lot of details that go into it, like, you know, swag. People like free things and people like good food and they like beverages and, you know, comfortable chairs and things like that. But those are not the things that those are not the things that people talk about the next day. The things that people talk about are, that, like you said, the things that inspire them. So we spent a lot of time picking the right speakers who were inspirational, easy to listen to, who brought new information, and who covered a wide array of issues, because childcare providers really do, you know, they have the financial concerns, they have the family keeping their families happy, keeping the children happy, providing the right kind of training for their staff. I mean, there are so many things that go into having a successful center that we really spent a lot of time on getting the right speakers. And I'm not just saying that because you're one of our speakers. It really is like the thing that makes or breaks your conference.
Absolutely. And I know that the keynote that I'm doing on Saturday, Motivate the Motivator, that's going to be a mixture of all different levels of leaders in the childcare industry, right?
Yep, that's exactly what we want.
And what do you feel are the biggest challenges that you're hoping the keynote session helps people overcome? And for all of our viewers who are tuning in, whether you're tuning in live or to the replay of this, if you relate to any of these challenges, I want to hear from you and oh yeah in the comments. And remember, we're giving away some of the yummiest brownies on the planet this evening. So make sure that you are actively engaged in our forum. So what are some of the challenges that you're really seeing or hearing from the leaders who will be in attendance that this session will help them overcome?
Oh my gosh. I mean, sometimes the things that people struggle with aren't always things that we can solve. Things like regulations, those are not easy to solve. But I think if you can speak to, like you said, the inner leadership, making yourself a better leader, learning how to inspire others, those things in turn help someone to enjoy their job more, and help them to have a better center. And I think that if even half of our leaders can leave at the beginning of next month feeling more inspired to have a better center, then I think that we've done our jobs.
Absolutely. So there's different issues, so different things that you feel that people can't do anything about. But I know some of these issues at the same time are things that people really let stress themselves out and really can lead to a lot of burnout and frustration. So this program is going to be designed, even if there are things that you feel you are victimized by, how do you overcome that? And how can you change your life? Because I know in my life, personally and professionally, there are things that I have felt victimized by, things that I couldn't change. But I learned some motivational strategies that all have to do with your mindset and your thought process to propel me to a whole different level of existence. And once you change your thoughts, is one of my first inspirations, Norman Vincent Peale in his book, The Power of Positive Thinking says, is that if you could change your thoughts, you can change your world. And that to me is very powerful, because imagine there's some things that you can't do anything about, but what if you could change the way that you think about those things so that you're more in an empowered position as opposed to a victimized position? Would that change your life going forward? Because we often hear that too, even in your childcare program. Maybe you have a lot of subsidized childcare, government, and you're not getting your payments on time. Can you switch your model to where you have more private paying clients or work in other profit streams for yourself and for your business? So those are some of the things that we look at. What do you think of some of those thoughts?
All of that sounds great. You're right. There's only so many things that we can control. There are certain things we can't control, and there are other things that we can control. And I like that quote by Peale. That's perfect.
Yeah, if you could change your thoughts, you could change your world. That one hit me like a ton of bricks when I first heard it. I was like, really? Because I never really thought that my thinking had that much to do with my results in my life. And then once I wasn't getting the results in my life that I wanted, I started really looking at, well, what could I change? And I realized that there's one thing that we, us humans, can do that nobody else can do, no other animals or creatures, and that's choose the thoughts that we dwell on. And we could choose those thoughts very carefully to bring about a new result in our lives. So that to me was very powerful when I heard it. Yeah. And I continue to study that and really learn the lessons from it. So what are some of the challenges? Okay, so there's things that we can't control, regulatory stuff, whatever it might be. But what are the things that we're hearing that we can control, that if we had a little bit more motivation, maybe we would make a quantum leap to a whole different level of success?
I don't know. That's a great question. So things that we can't control, how we treat our staff, the families that we choose to enroll, the types of classrooms we have.
Yes. Okay.
What we make available to children and families. some of that's more at the teacher level, but at the leadership level, I think it's probably focused on staff.
And I think also with our leaders too, and let me know, viewers, if you can relate to this, but I think it's all about what we tolerate too. Because we have a vision when we start our childcare programs, right? We've got this big, amazing vision. And then all of a sudden we get, maybe negative comments by staff, negative comments by the people who are working for us, negative comments by parents. And then we've got all the regulatory issues. So we really start feeling defeated when it comes to bringing the vision to life. So I think a lot of what we can control are thinking about the things, hey, what am I tolerating? That I'm choosing to tolerate because I think I have to tolerate it, but maybe we don't have to tolerate some of those things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. So Friday, you're talking about some regulatory issues, right? All right. So why else should people come on out and join you on Friday? Let's give them like a hot top 3 list. Like, what is it that's going to be incredibly juicy for them to come out? I know there's prizes, right? That's always really good.
We have raffle prizes throughout the day, all throughout the day. We have just 3 things.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know. How many do you want? 5?
5. Okay. We've got someone talking about the 5 major R's of a financially healthy center. So you've got like ratios, regulations, repairs. I don't know the others because I'm not the expert in that. We've got cultural diversity in the workplace, including children with special needs and childcare. The art and science of motivation, which sounds like it may hit on some of the same issues that we're talking about here. So she's talking about what's your motive and how brain chemistry affects motivation and how that knowledge can help us motivate our staff. That's Fantastic. Melissa Overton.
And remember, I'm going to be there Friday evening doing a book signing. So if you haven't yet gotten a copy of Childcare Business Success, please make sure you come see me on Friday. Maybe we'll be doing a special raffle giveaway at my table also. All right. Well, let's talk about Saturday. Now, I know you've got a full house Saturday and probably just a few seats left, but let's talk about some of your sessions on Saturday. And then let me know, maybe there's some, juicy nuggets that we could work in to give our viewers some information that will be presented.
Okay, so we've got teacher tracks and owner directors. So are most of your viewers directors, leaders?
Most of ours are directors and owners, but whichever you're most excited about, we can talk about.
One of the cool things that we're doing is we're having awards this year. So on Friday, I know I'm supposed to be talking about Saturday. On Friday, we're going to have the Excellence in Leadership Award, which is for an owner, director, or leader within the childcare industry. And then on Saturday, we'll have the Exceptional Educator Award, which is for a teacher. It's the first year that we're going to do that. And then we've got teams that play together, stay together. That's our opening talk on Saturday morning. We've got something social emotional health and classroom guidance. Parent and staff, this is yours, engagement strategies that will leave you outselling your competition and declaring I have no open spots left. Yeah, that's yours. Our journey together with autism, maximizing employee talent, survival tips and supervising millennials. I'm still not quite clear on how millennials are so special and different, but I'm going to go to that session and find out. And connecting with children on the autism spectrum. So we've got a lot of things focused on special needs, but also on motivating your staff.
Fantastic. And I really believe that repetition is the key to success. So even if you can come to one of these sessions, 2, 3, 4, and they're overlapping a little bit, you're going to get different golden nuggets and you're going to hear different things or maybe the same thing in different ways that will resonate with you. So it's really important just to go empty your cup and see if you can get 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 golden nuggets. You're going to leave with information that will help you really make some huge steps going forward. So Andrea, I have to ask you, why are you in this industry? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I had my own childcare for 12-ish years in the state of Colorado before I did this. Nice. And I had a small center, and I kind of had a similar experience in Colorado that providers in North Carolina have, which is sometimes getting the feeling of having your hand spanked for some petty thing, like not having a document dated or signed in the right place, or having a ripped book or something silly and feeling like you get in trouble with the state. And so I kind of had that background already, and just feeling like, and then I also have the political background. So I have my degree in public policy and administration. So I was just able to sort of combine my two interests of policy and childcare. So that's pretty much why I'm here and why I'm motivated to do what I do.
Awesome. So coming at this from an owner perspective, if you're looking at your lineup for the conference, what is it that you're most excited? You said millennials, and I hear that a lot, but what other sessions or what other tips and strategies are you really looking forward to gaining? Or do you think when you owned your childcare program would have been like the hot thing that you would have had to have heard, had to have learned from?
I'm just always interested in the concept of motivating and inspiring other people, because it's not one of those things where you can say, do this, and then they do it. It's deeper and more complex than that. And so if I could know the secret of how you can help someone else be better at what they do, I think that's an amazing nugget that I would like to learn more about, even though I'm not in childcare anymore. I think that's something that our members would appreciate.
Well, and I think people have always fascinated me. And when I was in corporate America, I was there for about 8 years. I had about 12 different supervisors. And I also managed teams myself. And I was really studying them to say, well, what do the ones do who are effective at motivating their teams? And what do the other ones who aren't so effective do? Because when I started my first management job and it was in the retail world where I had a team to manage and I was offered a promotion, they're like, Julie, how would you like to do more of what you love, except now through other people? I was like, yes, great, sounds perfect. But what I realized on my first day of managing a team, there was no manual. It was like you were given a pat on the back with a whisper of good luck, and they sent you out there with a little bit of a shove to say, okay, now go be as good as you were as an employee, but now as a manager. And I really learned very quickly that it's a much different ball game than, just doing what you love. So a lot of people love childcare, love teaching, love the children, but then they realize to grow a program, they have to have staff in place. And now that they have staff in place, where's the manual? And what is staff motivation? And when I first started studying staff motivation, thinking, how do I have a motivated team? I would Google it. I went online, I'd look at different books, and it was all about incentives. It was all about chocolate and chocolate donuts and different gifts and this. And I discovered that those things were really Band-Aid solutions, and they weren't digging into the cause of the issue, which would make a true transformation happen. And that's where I've really honed my expertise, is on getting to the root cause of issues so that you can experience a real transformation in your team and be known as, the best boss that anybody's had. But it doesn't mean that our minds should default to the place of, oh, they're unmotivated, so let's bring in chocolate donuts on Friday and, we'll boost their motivation. But it's interesting that that's where our minds do default to, because that's easy and that's fun. So the strategies and ideas that we present really have to do with shifting your mindset and expanding your mindset so that you can bring about long-lasting, permanent change into your organization. And these were real hands-on strategies that I discovered that nobody else was putting out a plan of action about. And I was actually really surprised that there wasn't a manual that was written. It was all about incentives and chocolates and this. I'm like, those things don't lead to motivation. So we look at 5 comprehensive cumulative steps to building a motivated team and sustaining that motivation. And a lot of it, Andrea, is looking at what takes away from motivation, because it's real fascinating to me to see that when employees come into our organizations, they might have motivation levels that leaders would rank as a 10, but 2 weeks into it, their motivation levels would drop to an 8, or 4 weeks, it's like a 6. So what happens from the inception of somebody's employment to 2, 3, 5, 6 weeks later? And that's the piece of the puzzle that I love helping our leaders put together.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so you're looking more at the long-term stuff.
For the long-term solutions, yeah, and there's a lot of Band-Aids that you could put on things. And Band-Aids, chocolate gives you a nice sugar high, but then there's the sugar crash and it's not sustainable. So it's really looking at, well, what causes the depletion of motivation in our teams and how do we sustain it? So yeah, so that's
great.
what we're going to be looking at during our sessions. Yeah, really excited. So millennials, what are some of your questions in terms of what are you hoping that gets answered for you in that session?
Well, it's Vernon Mason, who's a great speaker. He's going to talk about supervising millennials.
He's in our book. Vernon is in our book. So just so everybody knows. Yes, he is. Yes,
yeah, he's a lot of fun. So supervising millennials, how their communication styles are different and how they need to be reached differently than the rest of us. So I don't know. I don't know what his secrets are. We're going to have to attend 1:45 on Saturday to find out.
1:45. Will I be speaking at that same time or will I be free?
You'll be free.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll have to shoot a little live footage and give that to everybody on who's our followers. But, I once heard about millennials, and this was something that really stuck out in my mind is I heard somebody speaking about millennials, and they said, it's really interesting that we get on millennials about wanting to use their cell phones so much and wanting to do this and this and this and this. But, think about the old days when like electricity was first developed. And they said that, nobody ever went around saying, well, why do you have to have the lights on at all times? Why do you have to always have the lights on? Because it's like, okay, now we have electricity, so do we have to use it? And they were comparing that to cell phones. So it'd be really interesting to hear what Vernon says about that. But I know cell phones, number one, can be an addiction in itself, which is why so many of us struggle with that in the workplace. But then to really get our mindsets in the right place when we think about millennials and the use of technology and how it's just so fascinating and a really cool concept or a really cool thing for them to be able to have.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought so.
Unfortunately, electricity doesn't take time away from our kids.
That's true. That's true. The cell phones do. Yeah. So is anybody here who's viewing struggling with cell phones or millennials? Please type a comment in so that we can know that you're relating to what we're chatting about. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, we got an engagement prize this evening, which is our brownies, and we'll be tallying up to see who our winners are for this evening, as well as in our group for the marketing video. So make sure you got some interaction going, and Jonna will be revealing who our prize winners are very shortly. And but it's been great having you here. What else are you super excited about on Saturday?
I'm kind of like a little kid. I get super excited about Raffle Prizes.
Oh.
I mean, of course, I'm excited about all the speakers and all the stuff that we're going to learn, but I also love a really good Raffle Prize, and I like seeing how excited people get.
Absolutely. So do you know what some of your prizes are?
We've got a flat screen TV. We've got a Yeti cooler. We've got some framed art. We have some $100 and $50 gift cards. We've got a lot of gift baskets, some like luxury gift baskets, and then book baskets, movie passes for families. What else? Those are the main things. And then lots of things that are for centers, like toys and
Fantastic. That sounds great. We recently surveyed our group members and said, if you had $500 extra, what would you buy? And a lot of it was toys, books, resources for their son or so. By coming out to your conference, they're going to have the opportunity to win some of those things. Let's talk about some of the folks who will be speaking. So as you know, I'll be doing the keynote presentation as well as a breakout session. And Vernon will be there doing some speaking as well. Who else do you have speaking? Who else is on your lineup that you're excited about?
I've got Caroline Jens, DJ and Cindy's, and I'm afraid I'm going to mispronounce this last name, DJ and Cindy Savaboda. I don't know how to.
Oh, okay. And what are they talking about?
A mother-son duo. He has autism, and they're very inspirational. They talk about their experience in daycare when he had special needs and how the messages that he was given when he was young affected him and how we could handle things differently now. I've heard that people attend those sessions and they leave very inspired and touched. We've got Sue Joyce, Christy Hopkins. She works for the community colleges, I think. Michelle Salcido, Melissa Overton, Bob Greer, he's a center owner. Carolyn Derives and Laura Siffer, they're both center owners. I don't know if you know these people.
Carolyn's on our campus. What's she speaking on?
She is doing networking for administrators.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, you know, the moment you hear Carolyn open her mouth and speak, you feel that warm Southern welcome from her. So I encourage everybody to meet Carolyn and say hello. We actually also featured her story in the Childcare Business Success book as well. So yeah, so come on out and meet Carolyn. All right, anybody else who we should know about?
Well, we've got Beth Hathaway, Andrea Larson, Cindy Alexander is doing the full enrollment formula. That's our first one on Friday.
Awesome.
And then the others are mostly focused on teachers.
Okay, great. Fantastic. And yeah, those sound like some really great sessions. Oh, makes me want to, you know, maybe just kind of sit and enjoy the whole conference myself.
Me too. If I didn't have to do a bunch of the other behind the scenes stuff, I would attend all of these.
Well, and a lot of work does go into putting on these conferences, you know, and we do events that are 20 people to 200 people. And whether it's 20 or 200, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. So I know that the state of California, or excuse me, North Carolina is very blessed to have you putting on this conference. And what's your cat's name?
Trixie. I'm sorry. I've been trying to keep her away for the last 45 minutes, and she just really wants to be a part of things right now. So.
Hey, Trixie, you know, they want to get in the show. I actually shut the door so my cat couldn't come in, but I heard her meowing out there for a little bit. I was like, okay, hopefully she'll stay back there. All right, so let's see what some of our comments are. So let's read through some of these, see what some of our viewers have to say. Brandon, I'm going to read yours. Oh, I might have to put on my glasses. He agrees with you. And also, it's a tough spot for us to teach XYZ with zero support from the parents or guardians on the home front. Thanks for that comment, Brandon. I'm going to show Deidre. I think that one of the reasons that we are seeing more behavioral challenges these days is because parents' heads are stuck in their phones and they aren't paying attention to their children. All right. Let's see if we've got any other comments here. Ooh, Deidre said, motivate the motivator. I'd love to hear that one. Well, Deidre, it's not too far of a drive from California to North Carolina. So maybe you could come on out and you know, be with us. That would be great. Okay, some good comments there. All right. All right. And Jana, how are we doing on engagement here? Hopefully we're getting some good participation so we could give our brownies and our marketing video away. So Andrea, in closing, is there anything else that you would like to say? I think this has been a great interview, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Just that we're really excited to have you. And, you know, this was the conference that from the very beginning, Alicia Fink is the other one who's organizing this with me. And from the very beginning, we said we have to get new speakers and we have to get really engaging, exciting speakers. And we just feel like we have a great lineup. So we're excited to see you, and we're really thankful to have you. So we hope to see some more of some of your loyal followers. We'd love to welcome them too.
Absolutely. So if you're in the North Carolina area, come on out and join me. I'll save you a special hug, and we'll be doing the book signing on Friday. So come on out, make sure you join us, and you kick off Thursday and you wrap up on Saturday, correct?
Yep. We start Thursday evening and then wrap up Saturday. Yeah.
And after Saturday, how long are you going to sleep for?
Probably about 3 days.
Yep, that's the thing. Is you need a little bit of that recoup time. So do you find yourself having repetitive people who come on out year after year after year hoping for new information?
Yes, we have a lot of loyal people who we know we can rely on, people who come every year. And yeah, we have new people that come too. For sure.
Fantastic. Let's give out the registration information. I realize we haven't done that. If more people want information about your organization or where they can go to register, what is that information? I'll try to type it up here and put it on the screen too for a moment.
That would be great. So go to NCLCCA.org. And as soon as you get to our homepage, a banner pops up with pictures of the hands in the dirt holding the seeds and the sprouts. Click on that banner and it will take you to the conference registration page.
Fantastic. And what is your cutoff for registration?
You can register right up until October 31st. So before your kids go trick-or-treating. We prefer that you do it sooner though, so that we have enough food for everybody. We'll have enough food either way, but we prefer that it's sooner.
Right, exactly. But we do have some last minute folks as always, right?
Yep. We always plan for some last minute.
All right. So if you're interested in joining us, make sure that you go to nclcca.org. And you said there's a banner there right underneath the handprints, I believe. Yep. And people can go and register. Well, Andrea, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we'll let you go, and then we'll announce our brownie winners and our marketing video winner. And I can't wait to see you next week. And I know we'll probably be chatting in the interim to get everything squared away for the conference.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
You're so welcome. All right. Andrea, how do you say your last name? Scotskill? Stogstill with an ST. It's Old English. It means Stump Valley. Fun fact. Interesting. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you here, and I hope you'll come back and join us again, maybe before your next year's conference. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ooh, all right, everybody. This is going to wrap up another episode of the Childcare Business Success Show. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Andrea as we talked about different tips and strategies to really help you create some engagement, some motivation. We had a few golden nuggets in there, so I hope you got a lot out of that. And let me go to Jonna here and see who our winner is. If you'll bear with me for a second. All right. Hang on here. My computer's being a little slow. Oh, okay. So we've got a couple winners to announce. So our first winner for our brownies, if Loretta was here, we'd do our drum roll. But congratulations, Brandon. You have won the brownies for engagement for this evening. And our group engagement winner is Aisha Jones for our marketing video. So congratulations, both of you. Jonna will be sending you a prize claim form so that you can get your yummy brownies and your marketing video. And I just want to say thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Childcare Business Success Show. If you're in North Carolina or anywhere near the area, come on out and see me, see Vernon Mason, Carolyn Driggers, as we share information with you to really help you grow your childcare business and transform your life. So it's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you this evening. And we've got lots of thanks going out to Andrea, and also congratulations for Brandon and Aisha on their prize wins for this evening. And remember, the 2 sessions that I'm doing, my keynote is Motivate the Motivator, and the breakout session is Parent and Staff Engagement Strategies that will leave you exclaiming, I have no open spots left. I mean, wouldn't that be cool to tap into strategies, ideas, and secrets to really help you have full enrollments and the same strategies that you can use to fill your enrollments are the same ones that will help you also create a boatload of engagement with your staff. So I'm super excited to present these strategies and ideas. And Motivate the Motivator, I wrote an article several years ago, which is what I based this talk on. And the Motivate the Motivator article that I wrote was actually published in some business publications. And it was all about my curiosity or my quest to find out, well, who does motivate the motivator and how do people sustain long-lasting motivation? And this is totally a fascination and probably one of my original whys as to why I do what I do, was to really hone in and say, well, how do people stay motivated? Even Andrea, who was on our show, how does she stay motivated pulling this whole entire conference together? And that would have been a great question for me to ask her. But I'm sure at the conference, you'll find out that it's a lot about heart and passion and her vision for what she wants to transpire. And I know that's how they got so many registrants for their conference. But go to NCLCCA, come on out and join me. I'd love to see you next week and give you a hug and a book in person. And again, I think we're going to wrap up. But thank you so much for being here on the Childcare Business Success Show. I'm Julie Bartkus, best-selling author of Childcare Business Success and Workplace Transformationalist. And come and join our group. Jonna will drop the link for you. Childcare Business Success. Just search that on Facebook. There's a free group. And if any of you are interested, I want to let you know that we are reopening our membership site. And this is so cool because there are over 70 audio programs, audios, videos, forms, resource library to help you really create your positive, productive, and profitable childcare program. And right now, we are offering you a lifetime membership for one low investment so that you don't have to pay an annual fee, you don't have to pay a monthly fee, but it's a one-time fee. So if you haven't grabbed one of our 30 spots that we're making available for a lifetime membership, Jonna will drop the link for you. Make sure you come and check it out. There's a video there for you. It tells you all about the membership, but I'm only offering 30 of these spots before we officially relaunch the site. And then it's just going to be a monthly fee or an annual fee that you can pay to be a part of the membership program. All right. Thanks so much, Jonna, for dropping that. And thank you all for being here. I'm Julie Bartkus, and I'll see you next week. And for those of you who are part of our group, I will see you in the group with more tips, strategies, and ideas to help you grow your childcare program and transform your life in the process. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.